Jesus was not the one and only Son of God. We are all divine. We all have divinity. But how advanced you are spiritually is a case of how much you are manifesting that divinity.
Mm.
And a great being like Jesus, the difference between a great being like Jesus and someone like you or me is that Jesus was manifesting his divinity to a far greater extent, which gave him this wisdom and these powers, etc. Jesus is an advanced master, and to all intents and purposes, we could call him a divine being or even a god. Because of his level of consciousness primarily, and also his powers. And by his level of consciousness, I mean, the greatest manifestation of that is his fantastically unconditional love. Jesus was, in fact, an advanced being from another planet, from the planet Venus, not from this physical plane of Venus, from a higher material plane, a higher frequency of vibration of the planet Venus. So if NASA goes to Venus tomorrow and walks about, they will not find Jesus, unless Jesus particularly chose to manifest himself, which is highly unlikely.
Or any other Venusian, for that matter.
Or any other Venusian, or any aspect of Venusian civilization whatsoever, because it does not exist at that level. It's like if you had a friend who lives in a third floor flat, and you go and look in the basement and you say, well, they're not in.
Yeah.
Well, of course they're not in, because you're looking on the wrong floor.
Yeah.
Jesus chose to allow a small part of his consciousness to be born into a normal terrestrial body through virgin birth, in order that he could exist on this planet, apparently as one of us, to bring about great good.
So when you talk about the virgin birth, how does that relate to the Star of Bethlehem, for example?
Good question. The Star of Bethlehem was, of course, not a star, because stars do not lead wise men to stables and then hover over them. It's totally impossible. It's totally ridiculous. Either the story is not true, or it was a spacecraft. And in the Aetherius Society, we believe that it was a spacecraft from the planet Saturn that brought about this tremendously complex scientific miracle. So it was miraculous to us, but it was scientific to them, of enabling Venusian consciousness to incarnate among us on this planet.
One of the things that does bring us to is what he did for us, and how that is an example of his magnificent divinity, actually.
What he did for Earth was obviously to teach, but that was very much the secondary function of his mission. His main mission was to die for us. And this is a strategy that he devised, and it's a very, very clever strategy. He deliberately put himself into a position where he knew that he would be killed. He could have stopped that at any time, by the way. He had powers. This man could walk on water. He could raise the dead. He was not going to be afraid of a few Roman soldiers or an angry mob. He could have dealt with them with a wave of his hand. This is a tremendously powerful individual. But he allowed himself to be arrested and then crucified. The suffering that he went through on the cross was the way that he manipulated earth karma to prevent a catastrophe from having befallen Earth at that time that would have taken mankind back several thousand years. Why did he need to go through that suffering? Because that is the karmic law, that you cannot ever dodge the karmic law, but a great being can sometimes take karma upon themselves to save lesser people, i.e. us, at least for a certain period of time. We will have to pay the karmic debt eventually, but hopefully in the meantime we will see sense, learn some lessons, and put ourselves in a position where we can pay that karmic debt, without the earth being in dire catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
But the real brilliance of this strategy was he was doing a great thing. He was doing the right thing by taking the karma on himself, by helping us. I say the right thing. He didn't have to do it,
Right.
but it was a wonderfully incredible, noble sacrifice that he should not have had to do for us. There's a very interesting remark that Dr. King made, that we could not have done what he did even if we'd had the knowledge. So even if we'd been able to appreciate karma and understand the dark forces and all that, and we'd been willing to be crucified, it still wouldn't have worked. I think he says it would take something like, I think he says not even 1 million people being crucified would have had the same effect as the one crucifixion of the Master Jesus, because it was the crucifixion of such a great being that caused the karmic manipulation. It's a fascinating thing. It's a horrific thing, but its result is a beautiful thing. So this is really the essence of positive magic, or you might call it white magic. And I think the essence of Christianity as well, in a sense, in that it is taking something bad and transmuting it into something good. There's actually a few words about that.
Yeah, please do.
In Blessed are they who love, which is the third blessing. These ones, often in great pain and anguish themselves, think naught of this, but do transmute the very forces of holy nature into this mighty energy called love, so that they may give it freely to those who need it. So this is talking generally, the very forces of holy nature. So in other words, anything in manifestation, and raising it, bringing it up, where the Master Jesus' strategy is so exceptional, even among these exceptional beings who love, is that the aspect of nature, if you could call it nature, that he picked to transmute into love was such a low one. And that is his cosmic genius.